Welcome, welcome, and we're live here on Blab. I'm Ginger Meek Allen, and I am here with my friend and colleague, Mr. Andrew Berry.
Hello.
And we are going to talk about ways to sell jewelry today. And hoping everybody can hear me. I think Google Chrome is our best option. I see somebody asking a question about that. It's the best browser to use, and we are recording this, and it'll be on YouTube later. And last time we had I had trouble getting it on YouTube last time, so hopefully that will work this time.
We don't want this gentleman to, I'm afraid, no.
Okay. Okay, great. So let's just jump right in, Andrew. How you've been doing? Well, I hope.
It's all been good, all been well, and I managed to get out on my bike once. But that's good.
Good for you. Good for you.
But we don't want to talk about that, do we? No.
Is the weather warming up a little bit?
No,
I hope
not.
so.
It's hailstoning afterwards, but there we go. Never mind. So who have we got on here today? So the whole gang's on.
Looks like we've got quite a few people in the room. Let's go ahead and get going. So we have a little list that Andrew and I have prepared, and that's going to sort of guide our conversation. We are both jewelers and goldsmiths, and we sell our work, obviously, and this is our full-time gig. And we wanted to provide a conversation today for the people who may be newer in their business and are looking for exploring different ways to sell. So we're just going to talk about avenues for selling today, and we'll get a little detailed and granular about a few of them because I know we've had some requests to talk specifically about Etsy, and Andrew and I can talk at length about having your own shop. Yeah, in the brick and mortar model. So that's what we're doing today. We are going to go for an hour, no more, we hope, because it's late where you are, Andrew, right?
About 25 to 10. So I'm due for my beauty sleep shortly.
Yeah, we don't want you to turn into a pumpkin. Because I've seen that happen. It's not pretty. And we have, there's somebody in the room that has more experience on Etsy than Andrew and I do. And so we're going to bring our friend Kelly from Mothers on the Mountain Jewelry into one of the open seats in just a little bit, so we can go get some insights from Kelly on Etsy. But before we do that, we'll go into some of these other things. So Andrew and I have identified basically two different paths in terms of selling. One is selling direct to the end consumer. So you're selling the pieces directly to the person who's going to wear them or give them. And the other is to work through, in the U.S. we call it a middleman or a third party or a venue of some kind where you give the work to this venue and then they are the ones, it's their customer that purchases in the end. And they're different, right, Andrew?
Yeah. One you can, you've obviously make more money from one, and you're in complete control. And as you say, through a third party or through other venues, you then obviously have to let go a little bit of your, I suppose, of all the money, because obviously then you have to pay them to help promote and sell your piece, and then you just get your little commission or your whatever it's called. Brain's gone. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, you give up some of the profit, but you also give up some of the work too.
Oh, you do, yes. And obviously there's a price to be paid for that.
Yeah, and that third party should do do the marketing for you and, deal with some of the overhead and the customer service aspects and all of that you, in theory, don't have to worry about anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you do make less money per piece, but in theory, it should be the actual sales process should be less work for you.
Yes. Depends on how greedy you want to be, I think.
Well,
or how much
it
in
also
control you want to be.
skill set too. Like, some people, like, you and I both have shops, and so we're accustomed to dealing directly with customers and helping them find what they want, and that's a special skill set that not everybody has. But if you do have that, and you actually kind of like doing that and working directly with people, then it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
And so, which one should we go through? Which list should we go over first? Do you think?
Well, should we just go through sort of direct to consumer, and I don't mind whichever you want to do. I don't mind. When should we bring Kelly in? Should we talk about that once we've gone through the way that we know, and then we can bring in Kelly afterwards?
That sounds good. Sounds good. So why don't we just read through these, and we'll come back on and go over each one a little more specifically.
Yeah,
so
sure. Yeah.
Methods that are selling directly to the consumer in your own shop, brick and mortar store, like you and I do.
Yeah.
You can do this at fairs, festivals, shows, where you apply and go and set up for the weekend or a day or however.
Sort of face to face.
Face to face, yeah.
Consumer, yeah.
Sometimes people do home parties, like where I think our friend Dee does this, where she has a friend that brings her in at Christmas time, and the friend throws a party, and Dee sets up her work.
Like
and
the old-fashioned Tupperware parties.
Yes, except for without the multi-level marketing part. And you can sell it online through your own website.
Yep.
That's you selling direct to the consumer. Or you can choose to use a sales platform that's not a self-hosted website. So I have a self-hosted e-commerce website. I think you do too, don't you?
A few, yes.
Yes, and so you can do that, or you can go through another platform such as Etsy, Artfire, custommade.com, and you have some in the UK.
We got some like not on the high street, and a new one that's called Jewel Street. So yeah, they're pretty good. Pretty good way.
I wasn't familiar with Jewel Street, and I looked it up, and it's all jewelry, which is interesting.
That's the clue.
Yeah.
Jewel Street. Yeah.
Funny. And then the other thing that I thought of for direct to consumer was just social media in general.
Absolutely.
I mean, I have people contact me directly on Facebook or Twitter and say, "Hey, I saw you have posted this thing you finished. How much is it?" Go from there.
Absolutely.
So those would be the direct to consumer ideas that you and I came up with.
Yes.
And then the others, do you want to go over the rest of them?
Yeah, we've got, you see over here, we've got gallery consignment. So I presume that's selling through galleries. Trunk shows. You see, we don't really have trunk shows over here. So can you explain what trunk shows are?
Trunk shows would be like if you are already in a consignment relationship or not, with a gallery or a boutique or something.
Okay.
And you would go and just set up as their guest for a day or a weekend, and they would promote that you're going to be there and have your work. So,
okay, all right, that's cool. Cool idea. Okay, sales reps and agents. Yeah, just basically you can either pay a representative to go around shops on your behalf, or you can use an agent who represents quite a few suppliers or manufacturers, and they sell out as well. Wholesale marketplace. Which one's that? What does that mean? Sorry, you have different terminology over in the US.
Yeah, well, that is what I did this year, where I just,
sure. Okay, so you go to trade shows, and then you sell to galleries and shops that way.
Right, and they purchase it outright.
Yeah. Okay.
At a wholesale price instead of a consignment relationship where they just hold the work and pay you after it sells. I'm
with you. Sorry, I'm so thick this evening.
No, it's very late. Very late. So.
Okay. So I think people are put off with selling through their own sort of e-commerce sites, because people think that's a very, very expensive way of doing it. But there are lots of other ways, lots of sites that you can put together yourself as well. Was that down there for direct to consumer, bricks and mortar? Yeah, online, your own website. Sorry. Do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm really not with it tonight. I do apologize. I'm really
okay. Well, I tell you what should we do? Why don't we go ahead and invite Kelly to come in, because I think
she's going to be the most important one here, because you and I, you and I are just, we've never done Etsy. We don't know anything about Etsy, do we?
I did it years ago.
Okay.
But, well, let's see. Oh, this is a new thing. There it is. But what I'd love to do is, hey, Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Hey there.
What I would love to do is kind of go a little deeper into Etsy specifically, and then as far as brick and mortar or having your own website and those other issues, we'll open up that fourth seat. And if anybody else wants to come in and ask a specific question about any of these, ask you about Etsy or ask us about what we do, then we'll do that then. So how about does that sound good?
That sounds good. That sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
So my first question for you, Kelly, is give me like top 3 lessons learned since you've been on Etsy.
Okay.
And maybe tell us like how long you've been using it.
A bit of the background, yeah.
A little bit of your background with it.
All right, I can do that. I started 2011, the day after Thanksgiving, which was a really smart day to start your Etsy shop. Everybody likes to buy stuff that crazy day after Thanksgiving. Anyways, I didn't know what I was doing. Kind of fumbled around in the dark. So there's 2 ways I can say it. I can tell you the beginner way, or I can tell you just the regular way, because I've evolved. And so when I first started out, Etsy has a thing called teams, forums, things like this, where you can go in, you can talk to other Etsy people, all these things to figure out how to do it, which was where I was at. I didn't really have anybody to go, well, what am I doing? So if you're new, you're beginning, you really don't know what's going on, I advise you to go check out an Etsy team, join an Etsy team, go check out their forums. You can go to the forums and you can, like I said, ask questions, see questions that have been asked, ask or find out about a certain policy or whatever Etsy's throwing out, kind of thing. It's a good place. You also have to filter the forums, because there's going to be angry, bitter people, and there's going to be happy people, and there's going to be neutral people going, I really don't care what Etsy's done. I think I'm just going to keep on selling. So you have different kinds of people. So you can get caught into the ones who are like, oh, I've been doing this for years and they're messing it up, or you can, you pick and choose your battles there on that one.
Let me stop you real quick right there, because what it sounds like what you're referring to is some of the controversy that we've had in the last couple of years when Etsy changed some parameters. So I don't know a lot about the details, but I know that what I hear people saying is that it's no longer necessarily all handmade work.
No, what they've done, when they started out, first when I started out, it was great, and then they shifted something so that all of a sudden you weren't getting the views and the likes as much. You're like, what? Is nobody looking at my shop? Did I fade out? They changed somehow what they call, the search engine, the SEO, search engine optimizer. I don't remember what it stands for.
Search engine optimization.
Over my head. I mean, that you can go on forums and you can sit there all day long listening to that stuff. Okay.
Okay.
So they changed that, and then they went, I think last year, a year and a half ago, they decided to accept shops that had gotten so big that they needed to have other people come in and help make it. So that's where it changed in the handmade world. And this is all in my opinion. They went from, like, let's say I got big enough, I needed to have somebody else help me make the jewelry. I'm not keeping up with orders. That's where Etsy was like, okay, we'll allow another maker to come in. But pretty much in Etsy, you have to be making it. You have to say you're making it. If Etsy finds out that you are not making it, they'll can you. They'll take you off. And
Okay.
and here's another thing: if you there was one guy, he was overseas, making it overseas, shipping it to the U.S., and then having somebody in the U.S. ship it to the customer. Etsy shut him down. So there's tidbits, there's things in there and stuff. So they want you to be the person who says it's going to make it. They want you to ship it from where you're making it. There's little things.
Okay. That's good. That's actually better than what I had heard.
Yeah. So, good. And again, this is my take on it. You can find somebody else's take on it, and they're going to interpret it differently. So
that's okay. Yeah.
But I'm a neutral seller. I'm like, yeah, I know you're doing this, Etsy. I'm just going to sell, And so, so basically, I used Teams for the first couple of years. They were really beneficial. I outgrew them. I started to understand Etsy. I started to use Etsy. How do I want to say this? I started to promote more offside of Etsy instead of being within. So doing the teams builds you up on Etsy. You want followers, you want people not contact. You want people to like your shop. You want people to follow you, things like that. It's best if it's like-minded. Some of the teams you get on and they're like this one and then like all the other 10 below you on people who've posted items, but you might be liking dog bows or barrettes or baby diaper cakes or something. And those, so be picky and choosy about what teams you want to be on. Because
so the purpose of the team is it sounds like there's two reasons for doing that. One is to kind of learn the ins and outs of how it works from other people's experiences. And the other is sort of a community that supports each other, that, you like their stuff, they like yours, and that gets your numbers up so that you start to show up more. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. And it's also a place to promote. There are teams that are just strictly promote your stuff. Post your stuff, post it.
Okay.
So yeah, there's basically 3 ways to go about it. And there are thousands of teams on Etsy.
Okay. And then you said that you started to outgrow it, meaning that you were driving traffic to your Etsy shop yourself.
I was driving. Yeah, I was promoting within Etsy. So you can do teams, you can do treasuries. Treasuries is where you can go on and you can just peruse through Etsy. And I think it's like 14 or 16 spaces you fill up, and you've taken them from somebody else's shop, and then you share it. If you get on a treasury, then there's some people who are treasury junkies and they're watching them all day long. So that's another way of promotion. So this is all in Etsy promotion. When you so you got yourself established in Etsy there in that sense, right? Then you really just want to get off of it. You want to promote off as much as you can, because you've got to get everybody else coming to it. It's like you want everybody to come to your own website. You have to do it. I have talked to so many people and they're like, oh, you're on Etsy? I tried that. It didn't work for me. And I said, well, what did you do? Well, I put my stuff in my shop and nothing sold. And I said, well, what did you do? They said, what do you mean? I just put it on my shop. I said, then that's what the results you're going to get. Etsy is just a storefront. That's all they're going to be for you. And you have to do all the work.
Yeah.
Right. And that's I've heard the same thing.
Yeah. So, and for me right now, when they introduced the credit card reader, that was a game changer. I like it better than Square, better than the other credit card readers, because it reflects directly to my shop. So as long as I have an Etsy shop, if I sell something to my friend, they come to my house, here I sell it to you, boom, it shows up on my Etsy as another sale. So it makes me look good to potential customers. Look, this person sells a lot. And just to let you know, I'm not a professional. I don't have over 500 sales. I just, small potatoes here, but I love it. So, but that, that's another thing.
So is that a separate card reader, or does that card reader fit into your phone? Or
it fits into the phone, just like a Square. And the other thing is that when I first started Square, if you want to manually enter in the number, you were going to get charged. Etsy doesn't charge you. You can also do a quick sale. Their sell on Etsy app. I have an iPhone. I don't know what it's like for an Android. It's a great app. It's very easy. I was just at a show this weekend, and Anytime the credit card didn't swipe, I just entered it manually, took it all. It was
Right.
fluid.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So, yeah, I didn't know they had a card reader. That's awesome. So that means then it kind of takes care of if your Etsy shop can be where all your products are,
Yes.
so that every sale you make goes through that Etsy shop.
Correct. And yes, Dee, I do run all my sales through Etsy.
Yeah.
Because I want
So
those
that
numbers to show.
Looks good.
right, and it also it helps with the inventory management. Like, you know, where I know people used to be like, oh, I sold this thing at a show, I better go take it off Etsy because I only have one.
Correct.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
what happens if you sold it twice? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually we're like putting our shops on vacation when we go to a show, just in case Murphy's Law, you know, plays a factor in that. So, yeah. Me Jewelry is saying PayPal has a reader too. Those are different ball games and stuff.
Yeah.
So can I ask you to back up just a little bit? You've talked about how to promote the shop once you got it, but can you go back to the actual setting up of the shop? What are the most important things to know about setting one up if you don't have one?
Okay, so if you go in and you set up your shop, make sure for key things first off is your pictures. Make sure your pictures are good. Make sure they're clear. They give you 5 slots, five picture spaces. Use them. Go get an app that makes a collage if you want to add more pictures and use one of the slots for a collage of your jewelry. When you first set up your Etsy shop, Etsy now has a thing where you don't have to think about the policies yourself. They have already standard policies if you wish to use them. They just made that happen in the last month. So get your policies down. Figure it out. Do you want to do international shipping? If you do, go check it out. I had a nightmare thing with Canada. It scared me for a year. I'm back. But you have to do your research. Think about how you want to play your return policy. Everybody's a little different.
Okay, so do they have any? So go back to the photographs. Do they have any stipulations in what the photographs should look like? Do they say they've got to be on a nice white background, or more of a lifestyle, have earrings on and model, whatever? It can
you
be
can
anything.
Put your earrings on a dog. They don't care.
That's an idea. I'm making note of that one.
That's my idea.
Earrings for dogs.
They don't care. I see so many. I mean, I pretty much look at the jewelry, but I see so many cool ways of people displaying their jewelry. The key thing is that your first photo, when you're in your setup and you're listing a piece, there's a little thing that says adjust your thumbnail. Don't ignore that. That's your key photo. That's the little photo. When you go to look at Etsy, all these little photos, you want yours to be eye candy. You want yours to stand out so somebody goes, whoa, I'm going to click on that photo and I'm going to see it bigger, and then I want to see everything else. That's key right there.
I would think that consistency in your images would be important too. So whatever you look,
there's
a brand, isn't it?
Some people want all consistent. They want all white backgrounds in their shop. Some people mix it up. Everybody's a little different. I have a little mixed up here and there because I love a little mixed up, a little abstract. But some people just want straight up, professional. That's a personal preference. And you will see if it's working. You can see stats on each listing, so you will see if maybe I should do it differently. Maybe I should put a different picture as the thumbnail. You have that area to play in. Mm-hmm. And the other thing, go ahead.
I was going to ask a question about the reviews. Like, how important are the reviews?
They're important. I don't recommend hounding people for reviews. That is a personal preference. I wish everybody who's bought something from me left a review because I want to hear how it fit, how it felt, how it made them feel. Mm-hmm. Not everybody does that. Etsy will prompt you to leave a review if you purchase something, but that doesn't mean you have to do it. But like I said, it's nice, and when you get a good review, it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, and you're stoked. But and they show up now. Etsy changed their front page, so it's you keep scrolling, you'll see the reviews, you'll see all these things that people are saying about your shop and such.
What happens if you get a bad one?
You can debate it with Etsy, and then they'll go and chew out the other person who gave you a bad review or something like that.
I mean, you do have a recourse if
you
get
do.
Yeah.
I didn't leave a bad review for somebody. I didn't give the person 5 stars, and she came back very unhappy with me. And I was like, I was just being honest. And I didn't say I didn't like your product, but it wasn't 5-star-ish. And she was like, well, Etsy's policy says I can ask you to take it off and this and that. And I just gave her 5 stars and walked on. It wasn't important enough. So, you know, get all kinds.
Yeah. What else were you going to say about the listings? You were going to think.
So listings. So when you're listing stuff, so when you're opening your shop, the first thing you're going to want to do is put up pictures and such, and start to make listings. If anybody doesn't know, Etsy, despite their weird SEO and their weird handmade thing, it's 20 cents to list your item for 4 months. I don't know of any other shop platform that does that. All the other shop platforms I find want to charge me something monthly. There's no guarantee that I'm going to, you know, make that monthly to pay you. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, so Etsy, they charge me 20 cents per listing, and then, don't quote me, 3.5% on each sale. So I still get what my pieces are worth.
Yeah, good.
And so that's the one thing that has stopped me. And I've looked at all these other platforms. That's the one thing that stopped me, is the fact that Etsy is not giving me a monthly fee. So, and so, back to listings. The other thing besides your photos, the other few things that are important are your tags.
Right.
Use them. They give you 13 tags. Use them, and this applies to the tags and the title of your piece. You're going to use butchered English. It's not going to be grammatically correct. So if you're an English teacher, it's going to drive you mad. But pretty much you're going to want to put in things like, so your title would be, here's a ring. So crazy lace agate ring, sterling silver, handmade with silver balls on it. It's
not a work of art. Like, it's not this craft of language.
The title is not going to be groovy, and the reason so is when you're making your listing and you start to write in your title, below that is going to be an option for you to see what it's going to look like on Google search. That's key. You want to see what your title is going to look like on Google search, because most of the time, let's say I titled this Fairy in the Woods ring. Okay, who's going to search in Google for a fairies in the wood ring? That's where these titles come into realistic, fit land, where it's like nobody's going to look for that ring by a fancy name like that.
So basically, they are keywords for your search engines.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why you say crazy lace agate ring set in sterling silver, fairies in the wood, handmade, yada yada. So that's key. So and that applies to your tags too. You're going to say broken English, like, crazy lace pendant or lace agate or women's gifts or something, whatever you make it, just make them clear. They only let you use 20 characters for the tags, but use them. Try to research whatever you're making, how many views other people get on, test it out in Google search, test it out on Etsy. Are we getting a lot of views if I use the tag handmade? Things like that. So,
and then handmade is one word, or handmade is 2 words.
Exactly. So, it's a little tricky. And then some people, if you're a really good tag person, like right now, if you're really good, everybody should be in there on all their listings, putting in Mother's Day gifts. That would be the tag. So then you're bumping up. Have I done it? No, I'm bad. But that would be something to do, Christmas, all those things, that's keeping your tags on top of things.
And can you go back at any time to alter your tags? They haven't sold for Mother's Day, but you can put Christmas. Yeah,
you can always edit your listings, alter your listings, all those things. They also give you an option to describe your piece. Is it Art Deco? Is it I'm trying to think of the things, Woodland Zen? They have all these different, to label your piece. Is it country? Is it hippie? Is it what? So play with those too. You get 2 choices of those. You know, bohemian is a very strong word. A lot of people look for bohemian jewelry. The other thing is they also ask you, who's it for? Is it for men, women, you know, unisex, whatever? Use all of those. Use as many as you can.
Okay. Yeah.
They give you a lot, but use as many as you can. Also, in your description, you can use good English, good, you know, grammar. Tell them how you made it. Tell them the dimensions. Tell them the dimensions of every angle. You know, what they want to know. Well, how wide is it here? How wide is, you know, what's the length here? What's it here? People want to know. And they'll come back and go, well, you didn't say it was this. I'm sending it back.
Yeah.
So you have to be precise.
So that would stop people then perhaps getting in contact with you beforehand, asking you questions. Is it suitable for, I've got this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So I suppose it helps that way as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had people, you know, ask me, you know, hey, does it do this? Can I get another picture, another view? Can I see it on your hand if it wasn't on my hand in the pictures? Yeah. And so in the conversations on Etsy, you can totally shoot pictures back and forth.
Yes. Yeah. The combo window. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do people contact you via Etsy, or do they contact you via email in another way, or is it all conducted through Etsy? So you got some recourse then should something go wrong.
It's if they're wanting to purchase something from me, I find that they always contact me through Etsy more than my email. I mean,
and I think,
but
if it's an Etsy customer per se, isn't it considered unethical to take the conversation out of Etsy? Do you know what I mean? Like, because that way Etsy wouldn't get their percentage.
Makes sense. I haven't ever had anybody take it outside of Etsy, so that's I never thought about that.
So because it's like with eBay, isn't it? Some people say, I'll buy it, but you know, send me an invoice through PayPal, or I'll do a payment without going through eBay to get things cheaper, and you can get things then without paying your percentage. So do you find people want to do that, want to sort of make a sale outside of Etsy, or does everything that you've done so far take place within Etsy?
Everything pretty much has taken place within Etsy. There's been a couple times when I've done the PayPal invoice, and that was just because a friend of mine who didn't live near me wanted a piece, but she needed to do it in payments. So I said, okay, we can do the PayPal invoice. That was the only time I did that, and that piece didn't run through Etsy.
Sure.
Just because, you know,
convenience for her.
Yeah, and it was
a personal relationship.
Yeah, what was that?
Because that was a personal friend.
Yeah, and I do know of a friend of mine who's a jeweler on Etsy, and she does do payments through Etsy. I'm not sure how she does it though. I haven't really delved into that one.
So when it's been I had an Etsy shop a long time ago, like years.
Back when it was good.
Back when it was smaller but even then, like, one of the things that I noticed, and maybe I'm just not looking in the right place, but it seems to tend to have a lot of lower price points, and people don't really charge enough for the pieces that they're making, and it makes it hard to compete with that, you know, if your work is more expensive and if your work is priced a little higher. Have you found that any issues around pricing?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And what I think it is that the people pricing their items don't understand the value of their stones or the work that they put into it, or they've gone on to see, well, what is a similar item costing? You know, what is somebody else charging that? And then they go off based on that, somebody else's price, but they don't know where they got that price. They don't understand what they're selling. I don't think they're understanding what they're selling, or they've just made it so poorly. They think that, you know, it looks like something that's $150 when, you know, it's really $20, you know. I don't know. Does that answer the question?
Well, I mean, I guess pricing can be a problem for all kinds of reasons. And it just seemed to me that there seems to be a lot of that on Etsy, because Etsy's where a lot of beginners go
Yeah.
to sell online for the very first time, and they don't price high enough,
No,
in my
they
opinion.
price themselves big time.
And that's a generalization, I realize that, but I was just wondering if you had, because you price your work more appropriately, I think, and so I just...
It was an adjustment. It was an adjustment because I started out on Etsy doing beadwork and, you know, my studying stones and leather bags and some crochet stuff, you know, just cheesy stuff. And so it was an adjustment to go from those prices and then get into my fabrication and realize what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. And yes, it is going to cost more. That was an adjustment. I lost customers because they're like, well, you don't make anything that's affordable anymore. I said, well, I'm following my passion. I appreciate that you were part of my journey getting me there anyways. But
that's okay. Let them go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the evolution of your journey. If you're going to stay a
Right.
bead maker, you're going to stay a bead maker. If you're going to do something bigger, you're going to get more tools. It's going to cost more, et cetera, et cetera. But I see that on Etsy, people underpricing themselves all the time. And so then I think to myself, I'm not really in competition, but I want to be fair to me. And so I have to trust. I saw this great, the other thing about Etsy, they have teams, forums, and then they have, I'm blanking. They have like what we're doing. We're talking live. So somebody talks live and stuff. And it was a Etsy member talking about how we are so used to being perceived. It's what the perceived seller sees. So what we think of our piece, we were putting too much importance on that. I have to believe in the perceived value. That's the perceived value of the customer. Even though I might not like my piece, oh, it's not that good, I'm not going to, somebody might come along and go, I'm in love. I am so in love and I want this piece. So remove the perceived value of the seller, put in the perceived value of the customer and base it on, you know what I mean? And trust that if somebody's going to come up and go, that's a beautiful piece, that's a fire agate, I know what fire agate's worth, and I'm going to spend the money for it. That's the perceived value of the customer, and I try to trust in that. If I have to price a piece high.
That's a good mindset shift around that. That's good.
Yeah, that was an Etsy thing. That was an Etsy tip, But
well, there's also is it the Etsy blog? I think that there's basically tutorials on everything.
Yeah, I haven't ever followed the blog a lot. I've pretty much just done the teams and so I even had a team at one point, and it didn't go where I wanted it to go. It was kind of funny, but I made some connections and stuff, and you still learn a lot of things, but it's I learned most of it on Etsy. I didn't go to the blog too much. I'm not a big blogger. I think you have to be a blogger. You have to be somebody who loves to sit there and read blogs, do blogs, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm. So we've got about 20 more minutes. How about we unlock this seat? And anybody who's in the room, we've got 18 people in the room at the moment, I think. And I'm going to unlock that seat. And anyone who wants to ask a question of Kelly or of myself or of Andrew, or all of the above, just hit that button and call in. And I would love to hear from some of the other folks what their sales experiences have been, and any challenges that have come up, because we could sit here and sort of blab literally for an ongoing period of time about this topic. It's a big topic, and we kept it broad. We kept it broad on purpose, hoping that people would bring questions. So.
I do have one more thing to share, though.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So when when you're setting up your description, you talk about your description, you talk about how you made it, what metals you used, what the dimensions of the piece are. I go down as far as to say I use fine silver for the bezel and the balls, and you tell them this. Put a link below that. If the listing is for a ring, put a link below that saying, if you'd like to see more of my rings, click on this link here, and they can click and see another page of rings you've done. So put links in your description to link them to other items in your shop.
So sort of like you have the ring, but you also do a matching pendant and vice versa. You can cross sell that way.
Bingo.
Cross selling. Yeah.
Cross
Great.
sell. I have a matching one, or here's more.
What do you think about people that, I know there are plugins and such that you can use to send your Etsy inventory on your own website. And I think that, like, if I'm on your website and I click on shop, I can see all the items
yes.
in your website. It's just if I go to purchase it, then it takes me to Etsy and I buy it there.
Right.
Have you tried that? What's your opinion on that?
I on my website I have that little. Is that you're talking about, the little box? I have a box where it says it's my Etsy shop, and they can click and go straight to it. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about one that it actually looks like a page on your website, and it actually puts each item. I mean, it looks like you're shopping there.
Right. Okay.
On your site.
That's like on Facebook. Facebook has that option. I think
they do. Yeah. Yeah.
Tried that.
So
no takers. I have had that up for 3 years. No takers. Not a single sale. Not a single click that I know of. It says shop now on my little Facebook page. Nothing.
How would you know, though? Is there a way that you would know that's how they got there?
They have they have statistics on Facebook, or those analytics that are confusing a bit. I don't know. I would assume that. Well, if you go to Etsy and you look at your views on your stats, you can see where people have come from. You can see the majority will be from Etsy, Facebook, mothersandjewellery.com, Twitter. The only one that won't link you is Instagram, so you don't know who's looking from Instagram because Instagram doesn't allow links yet. And then there's other platforms where people have done search engines and stuff to, find you. So that's again where those funny titles come in. You can also see what were the main keywords people were using and then accidentally landed on my item. And some of the keywords are hilarious. People look for the oddest things, And
Superman underwear or something like
and all
that.
of a sudden you landed on my turquoise ring. I don't know why you were looking for turquoise underwear. And whatever.
Do you ever sort of put like a throw ball, a curve ball, and just chuck a particular type of keyword in there just to get the men?
Yeah.
Could do.
It's
how much time do you spend every day, like tagging and listing and like working on your store?
I don't do it every day anymore. Well, I mean, I do a lot from my phone because that sell on Etsy app is that good. Which, don't let me forget, I want to talk about shop updates.
Okay.
I would say I do it like maybe once or twice a week. I make sure I kind of fluff things up. You can go in and rearrange your shop. You can, do all these things. Change out your thumbnail picture just to, maybe you'll get something there. I don't go on every day. You can go crazy going on every day, going, oh no, I only got 2 views and no hearts. So, monitor your sanity.
Yeah, that's a good process to follow. Anyway.
Etsy came out with 2 things. Etsy came out with 2 new things though recently, and one was a website. They've integrated Etsy with the platform's called Pattern, and right now if you jump on it, the first 30 days are free. It took my whole shop onto a website, and it's beautiful. I was totally blown away, and it's $15 a month or something like that. I don't know if I'm going to go there, but I'm sure I'll do the free trial thing. It's kind of cool. And the other new thing they came out with, which is on the app itself, the Sell on Etsy app, is shop updates. And this is kind of cool because they make it so you can post a picture. You choose a picture of your likings. A lot of people are doing work in progress pictures. And then you can tag that picture. This is all within Etsy. Tag that picture with the appropriate listing, and a little yellow or a little orange price tag comes up. If you share that, and then you can little description, I'm soldering on the ring shank, etc. And then you can share it. It'll share within Etsy, and then you can have the option to share it to Pinterest, to Twitter, to Tumblr, to all those other medias. The ones where it shows up the best would be Twitter and Facebook, because don't quote me, it might be Twitter, but that little orange tag is clickable, and it'll take you directly to the listing, and you can sell it. You can buy it right there.
Right there.
That's the shop update for the Sell on Etsy app. You can share it to Instagram, but again, Instagram is not linkable, so it's, you know, that kind of thing. But so the shop update is another great way to do offsite promotion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Cool.
And that's a new feature. You can have
We've got a
and somebody asked me a question. You can have more than one Etsy shop. It is a lot of work, because you have to have a separate email. You have to log in, log out, log in, log out, and then all that jazz. And more power to people who do that.
But if you have two very distinct bodies of work or very distinct products, like I don't know, your husband's wood
Right. Yeah,
work.
I've often wondered if we should open up another shop, but I just keep them on there. That's, you know, that's okay. So
But you can set up sections of your own shop, right?
exactly. So I have
Organize things
yeah,
that way.
you can totally set up sections, and then you can rearrange it to where, you know, I have all his wooden stuff on page 2, all the jewelry's on page 1. You can totally, you know, totally change that. But I was reading some of the questions there. So yeah, I have a friend who has 2 shops, and she's constantly going, oh God, I forgot the password to the other shop and this and that. So I think the people who have 2 shops, they're definitely on their Etsy shop every day, doing something every day. I like to create more than I like to play on Etsy.
Well, and it makes sense that having the phone app helps a lot.
It helps a lot. I can be right there soldering, click a picture, boom, do a shop update.
I use the WordPress app on my phone all the time. Like, I'll write blog posts while I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting to pick my kids up.
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, so Ginger, go back to that. So do you actually use the Posty plugin so you can email a post to a special email address that automatically then gets put onto your website?
No. Do you?
Yeah, no. But I'm going to do it when I go to Las Vegas. Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes.
That way
you can just simply send an email to your little email address that you set up with a picture with your post, and then just send it like a normal email. And then the Posty plugin on your WordPress app will look at that email address however many times you want it to. If it finds that particular email address, it'll post it onto your website automatically.
That's great. That's very, I'm amazed at
it is
the
there,
world of
it is there already. It's there on the settings and on whatever it is, but that's a rubbish way of doing it. But the Posty, Postie, Posty plugin. Brilliant.
Posty.
Yeah, Posty.
Okay.
Sorry, to digress.
Yeah, the one that I use is just the WordPress app.
Yeah.
iPhone. Yeah. Or the iPad.
Yeah.
And I can see my site stats in there. I can see all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Is your WordPress also connected to your website at all? I don't know a lot about WordPress.
So for me, I have an e-commerce website that is not Etsy, and it's my own site, and I host it myself, and it lives on a subdomain of my main website. So gingermeegallen.com is my main URL, and then my shop is on shop.gingermeegallen.com. And so WordPress runs the main site, and where my portfolio and my blog and my contact forms and the Ginger Meegallen virtual studio that I do for my custom clients so they can see their pieces being made. Like, all of that is in my WordPress site. And then on the subdomain, I use an e-commerce platform that connects to my POS system here at the shop, so that all inventory is synced. It's called Lightspeed. And
wow.
So for me, that's how I keep everything straight. And the problem is that my entire collection isn't even on there. Like, That's why I asked you how much time you spent listing things, because I'll never run out of stuff to list. Just, it's an ongoing thing. Martin asked a question about Shopify compared to Etsy. So Shopify is more in the category of what I'm using. So where you would host your own basically site, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but and I've had Shopify in the past, and
it's two different things. Shopify is completely different to what Etsy's all about.
Yeah, it's two different things. Etsy is like a storefront platform that is similar to Artfire or CustomMade.com, or not on the high street in the UK. And Shopify is something that you could use in lieu of the way I'm using WordPress. So you can have a blog, you can host your whole website through Shopify and have an e-commerce site that also has the blog and all the other stuff too. Or you could, like, I still kept my WordPress site and I had Shopify running the e-commerce part on a subdomain that links from the main website. And there's other ways, like Squarespace is another one. I mean, there's plenty of.
There's lots out there, isn't there?
There's them out there.
And they're all very interested in taking money off you.
Yeah. So, Christy, yes, that is similar. Shopify, Squarespace, Big Cartel, those are all like e-commerce.
Selling platforms.
Yeah. What?
Selling platforms.
Selling platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Selling platforms.
Well, they're e-commerce engines is how I think of them. When I think of Etsy as more of a selling platform, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
Right, like Big Cartel and Artfire are like selling platforms more so than, right? I think.
I thought Artfire was like Etsy and Big Cartel.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Etsy, Artfire, Big Cartel, they all seem to be a little bit like Etsy.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with Big Cartel. I thought Big Cartel was an e-commerce.
They set it up like an Etsy shop, but again, they charge you a monthly fee. I looked into it. I like their layout, but they charge a monthly fee.
Yeah. One of the things about Shopify is you can choose your theme, just like with WordPress. You can choose a theme, which controls like how everything looks and how it's all organized. Whereas like Etsy, you can't change the format of how things work. But
that's
with the theme,
with WordPress, you've got all the themes as well. You can change everything the way you want to do it.
Yeah, and you can get a free theme, or you can spend a lot of money on your theme, depending on how many features you want. So
yeah. Right now, I have a website on Weebly, and it lets you have a website, a blog, and then a selling platform. And I haven't gotten to the selling platform yet. Again, it's a monthly fee, and I don't sell enough yet to generate that, that it's worth it yet, but it seemed like a really cool thing. But now I'm hearing WordPress, I'm hearing some other people say some Shopify and some other things, and I'm like, it is so hard to figure out what platform or what where to start your website, and which one's going to be good and how is it going to play out in the future, and that's why I'm still on Etsy, because I haven't figured that part out yet. It's a little mind-boggling. There's
another one that works as a WordPress plugin. It's called WooCommerce. And Woo, it's based in the UK, Andrew.
Yes, WOO. WooCommerce.
WooCommerce. And my web guru, recommends WooCommerce.
We use WooCommerce.
Yeah, I have used it in the past before I got the one I have now, because but don't you have to have your existing merchant account separate from that, Andrew?
You can there are lots of different ways to pay. You can obviously have people send you checks, cash on delivery. You can also do it through PayPal, and people will be taken straight away to PayPal, or you can have things like World Pay or Sage Pay and have the plugins to put in with that. But obviously, going to things like Sage Pay and World Pay, you have to pay their monthly fees. So we knocked that on the head, and we just deal directly with PayPal, which is obviously like either 4% or depending on how much money you put through PayPal. I think we're down to about 2.5% now.
Mm-hmm.
So that works out very well for us.
Mm-hmm. But WooCommerce doesn't have a fee in and of itself, right?
No, WooCommerce is all free. It's like the, you can install WordPress, and there's loads and loads of free themes to have on there. WooCommerce is free, and a lot of the plugins as well that you can add onto WooCommerce are free as well. And they do updates every few months as well that are all free. So it's a way of putting together a really good website that you can do yourself and have complete control, and then just pay your your little tiny percentage to PayPal.
Right.
It's very good.
And one thing I think that really has to be said out loud right now is that having your own website, and this is true of Etsy too. I mean, I think people, you hear them say, I set up my Etsy store and then nothing happened. And Kelly, you're saying, well, you didn't promote it. Basically, you have to promote it. The same thing is true of your own web store, web shop. I think people shy away from building their own sites because they're afraid that I'll do this and then no one will come. But it's the same principles apply. You just have to market the site and you send the traffic there. And it's not an overnight, very few people I know that can do that. And it's a boom, I'm suddenly making 5 figures in a day. But it's
easier now than what it was sort of 10 years ago, because nowadays you've got all your social medias. You can just chuck pictures on with links that come back through to your website. Whereas years ago, you didn't used to have all things like Twitters and Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest and all those. You just had to try and get the website out there. But I think it's easier to get traffic to come through to your site now. But then you have to turn those people who come to your site into buying your products. And that then is the hardest part.
Yeah. Then you get into the sort of the art of doing that, of having a website that actually converts people to purchase.
To buyers. Yeah. And that's the hardest.
And the other thing, I don't know, I think in terms of talking Etsy website, all these things, we're talking about promoting and getting people there. So the other question I get asked a lot is, which social media do you use to promote on? And there's so many out there. And what I say to people is, the one that works the best for you is the one that you put the most time into. So I've had people go, nobody follows me on Facebook, nobody looks at me on Instagram, nobody does me on Twitter. Again, it's the same with the Etsy shop. What are you doing? Are you giving them something to look at?
Yeah.
Are you giving them a reason to hang out?
And regular content as well.
And Andrew's right. Pinterest bites. Don't use
never
it.
use Pinterest.
I disagree with that.
Pinterest sucks. What an awful platform Pinterest is. I'm sorry.
It's a cool platform for ideas, but Ginger, let me tell you something. Somebody just texted me saying, "Oh my gosh, I just saw that one of my items, one of my pieces of jewelry that I promoted from Etsy to Pinterest, somebody put in their little Pinterest board as items I would like to recreate."
Yeah.
So I kind of was like, that's not so warm and fuzzy. So it's Pinterest is great if you want to like waste time and find cool things.
Yeah.
It's so great for other things, but selling, I have not found anything coming back to that.
Well, I have, for me, I don't use it daily or anything, but I have gotten several big commissions because people found pieces that I had done on Pinterest.
Oh,
I feel another blab coming up. All talking about Pinterest then, because I don't understand it.
Well, one of the things that's really important is that you pin from your own website, so that the pin links back to not just the picture of whatever it is, but the pin links to you. And so what happened for me, and this has happened maybe 4 or 5 times at least, where people have found something on Pinterest, and I mean like lockets that are $2,000, and they would contact me, they find my click on the pin that takes them to my website. And then once they're on the website, I've got multiple entry points and forms and email ways for them to reach out, make it really super easy for anybody who's on my website to contact me directly. And then the sales conversation starts there.
Yeah.
And so,
okay.
And the other thing that's a new thing at Pinterest has these I forget what they call them, payable or buyable or something like that. And I looked into that because I was starting to see some other people that I know had where you can actually buy through Pinterest.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's new.
But I can't do it because it depends on what your e-commerce platform is, and it works with Shopify. It doesn't work with the one with mine with Lightspeed. So, there's if you're going to start thinking about that, those are things to consider. And there are a lot of people.
There's a lot of people on Pinterest.
Loving Pinterest. And you're right. A lot of people want to know, like, how do I get the stains out of my bathtub? That's all on Pinterest too. But,
it is. Just don't hard boil your eggs in the oven like Pinterest tells you. They were awful.
Yeah.
It's interesting on these different platforms and on Etsy on your listing they give you Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest to automatically share to.
Yeah.
And so it will directly link you back to that listing so somebody can click it on right there and buy it.
And the other thing I've done is that every on my e-commerce website, every product I have on there, there's a pin button. So anybody can pin it to their Pinterest and their friends see it. And when they click on it, they come to my website.
That's nice.
So
that's nice.
It's a good way to, if you do it right, you could get traffic to your site. Karma Project says there are, I like what you said about how there are pros and cons to everything. I mean,
yeah, there really are.
Yeah, there really, really are.
And I suppose you want to get out of a social media platform what you actually put into it.
Yep.
As well, don't you?
Yep. You really do. You really do. Your numbers aren't going to move unless you help to do something. And you don't always have to buy. Like, you don't have to buy the ads. You don't have to do that. You don't have to buy the ads on Etsy. You don't have to buy the ads on Facebook. You just take the time. And I'm on Tumblr, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. Oh, it's gross. I used to be on Wayne Low. I found other sites to promote to when I was, doing this, and over time I found the ones that that I enjoy being on the most.
Well, and the other thing about social media that I'm sorry, Andrew.
Okay.
That when you're choosing where to focus your energy, find where your people are. Like, you have to know who your customer is and where they hang out.
Yes.
Because some people are Pinterest people, some people are Twitter people, some people are Facebook people. So
you have to get them. Yeah, you have to get them all. That's when my husband goes, "Why are you on all that stuff?" And it's exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Because there's Twitter people who hate Instagram. Yeah.
Right.
And there's Instagram people who hate Twitter and they won't even touch it. And then there's people like, "I'm not touching Facebook. I'll find you on Twitter."
Yeah, like my kids don't even bother with Facebook because it's become like that's where 40 and up hang out.
That's where old people hang out now to find out what the kids are doing.
We gotta start writing in cursive. They won't know what we're saying.
Yeah.
We use Facebook, and we boost pictures and boost images and boost little posts as well. And we find for the value, for the money that we spend, we get a fantastic result for what we sell.
Yeah. And again, so that depends. Like, if you're a big established, company and everything like that, both of you are. So to sell in that manner, you can afford it all. You can do all those things. If you're small scale like me, you got to do a little bit different. But
even with just post, you can sort of boost a picture of like your latest work on Facebook for about for £5 here, and you can choose then who that goes to, male or female, what age group, what distance from you do you want that to go to. So we find that really good way, as opposed to just paying for an advert in a newspaper and not knowing where it's going, how many copies, who's looking at it. So at least you've got the analytics from that boosted image to say how many people have seen it, how many people have clicked through it, how many people have shared, how many people have liked it. And we find that really is good.
I think with Facebook ads too, it's important to know what you're trying to get them to do. Are you actually selling something, or are you just trying to get them to like your page so that they'll see your stuff more often? Or, you know, where are you sending them with the post? I think that's something that's important to think about, and maybe try a couple different strategies and see what seems to work better.
We always put links that direct that picture of what we're selling straight back to our website.
Oh yeah, I always have to do that. I like what Kathy wrote. She'll boost the photos right before an art show or a festival.
Mm-hmm.
And that applies too with Christmas, Mother's Day, anything like that. Those are when, and you're right, Andrew. I can run an ad on Facebook because I've done it a few times, and you can set your limit for $5 or $10 a month, and it won't go over it.
Yeah, it's really, you know, we have a certain item, we have a certain special link in stock that we've only got 10 of, and we've done this many times. We have, say, 10 links for a particular type of bracelet. I'll put on there limited availability. We only have 10 in stock. They're going to sell out now within a couple of days. You know, here's the link to order on the website. Here's our telephone number, and we sell out. We sell out in a day. And then we can choose then who we're going to target that to. Mm-hmm. It really is clever. Very, very cheap as well.
It is.
So we are past our hour mark. I just looked at the time. I was like, oh my goodness, it's gone so fast. Any last call? Any other questions anybody wants to ask, or comments that you guys wanted to share?
Yeah, and if anybody has questions later on, you can always direct message me on Twitter or something like that. You know, we're always available.
Yeah. So and you can see our, but if somebody's watching this on YouTube later, Kelly, can you tell us where to find you?
mothersonthemountainjewelry.com. I'll type it in.
Yeah. The chat won't be on the YouTube recording, so that's why I wanted you to say it.
mothersonthemountainjewelry.com.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And on Etsy, I'm Mothers on the Mountain, because they don't let you put in your whole entire name.
Mothers on the Mountain. And I am gingermeekallen.com, and Andrew
is Andrew Berry, well, whatever, andrewberry.com. I'm doing andrewberry.co.uk as well. And I'm at thebench.com as well.
At thebench.com. So
at thebench.com, online jewelry training website. So we won't get into.
Excellent.
That's another plan.
Fantastic. Well, any farewell words of wisdom?
I've learned an awful lot.
I have too.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was so involved. I just thought you just put your stuff up there and that's it. I didn't realize there were so many things, so many forums, teams, and the whole thing.
There's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on with it.
Yeah,
very good. I'm impressed.
And I think the one of the themes I've heard from all of us at some point is you pretty much get out what you put in. That there's no magic pill, there's no easy button. You know, I keep looking for the easy button, and I
do too. When you find it, let me know.
Yeah. So got to show up every day. You know, show up every day, do what you do, and just keep moving, just keep going. Well, thanks everybody, and I think that's a wrap. We'll do some new topic next time, Andrew. Any bright ideas yet? Or are we going to keep them in suspense?
I think we'll keep them in suspense. And also, I think if people want us to talk about basically anything, they're more than welcome just to contact us in any which way they want to, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. And so just suggest ideas. Because at the end of the day, it's nice, like this is all about Etsy and selling. You know, with plenty of people here coming on and off, you know, learning a heck of a lot. I've shared it to Twitter and Facebook a few times as well. I think if anybody wants to know anything, you know, we're not experts on everything. This is why we brought in, it's that way for me, but we brought in Kelly to talk about this. And this is why we brought in Mary as well, because they are specialists in what their field and what they do. So I think that's the beauty of what we've got here.
Yeah, and I overheard a little conversation that should let me know that people wanted to know about this. So that's why we wanted to bring Kelly in.
You can message me jewelry. You can message me about the teams.
Okay, Monica,
that's
Monica. Isn't it? Yeah.
That's Monica. Hi, Monica. I know about the names. Yeah, you can. anybody can message me on Twitter. You can find me there and talk about questions and such.
If people want to follow you on Twitter, all they have to do is click on your @KellyMOTM on it, and then you can click follow.
There you go.
Yeah, right here from Blab. Not on YouTube on the replay, but here on Blab that works. Okay.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you all very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. See you next time. Bye.